I'm going to start with just going over the staff assignments. Really, the first time that I've talked to y'all since I guess it was signing day. But lots happened since then from a coaching standpoint, and lots happened since then from a player standpoint. So, try to get you guys caught up here before we break up and you get a chance to talk to these guys individually. So. Joe DeForest is going to be our defensive coordinator. Joe comes from Oklahoma State. Obviously, you guys are pretty familiar with him at this point, but really excited about what he brings to the table from from a Big 12 standpoint. Obviously, he's been there for 13 years and got those guys at 13. Joe, I think it's 11. Okay, well. And got those guys to the point to where, we've had lots of battles throughout the years and understands the style of ball that we're going to be playing in the Big 12. And I think that's incredibly important. There's a lot of good offenses in the Big 12, and you got to be able to keep playing. One of the mottos that we had this year from our team was the importance of continuing to keep playing regardless of what the situations are. So, he understands that stuff, and they led the nation in turnovers last year, and will really bring a lot to the table. He also coached the safeties. He's going to spend a lot of time with the specialists. He's had a couple of All-American punters and a couple of All-American returners, and kickers and all that stuff. All that stuff I don't know a whole lot about, so. He'll be able to bring something to the table when it comes to those guys as well. His recruiting duties will be North Florida. He's from, south of Jacksonville, so he's familiar with that part of the country, and we'll be able to get in there and do a really good job for us in North Florida. Keith Patterson comes to us from last year, was at Pitt. Prior to that, he came from Tulsa, which is where I went up against him for 3 years. Got a tremendous amount of respect as far as what he's bringing to the table from, the fact that he's been a defensive coordinator. He's going to be a co-defensive coordinator for us here and coach the linebackers. He's went up against our offense for the last 4 years, which, again, going into the Big 12 and the amount of spread offenses that we're going to be seeing, that's really important to be able to have that kind of a philosophy and be able to line up a defense that's what we want to go to, which is more of a 3-4 defense, be able to kick it down to a 4-3. There's a lot of variety with what you can do to that, and it's something that over the years has given me problems to the point to where I knew that's kind of the direction that we wanted to have. He'll also be recruiting at Dallas and be in the junior colleges in Kansas and Texas and Oklahoma as well. Eric Schlatter is going to be coaching our defensive line. Eric comes from Stephen F. Austin, where he worked with Shannon, pretty familiar with him. Again, it comes back to the same philosophy as far as where we're going and the type of offenses that we're going to be seeing. He's going to have a tremendous amount of knowledge from being able to practice against Shannon for the better part of 2 to 3 years. And then, having a lot of ties in that part of the country, we're going to stick him in Central Florida from a recruiting standpoint. We don't want to just overload people from a recruiting standpoint into Texas. We're going to take care of a lot of the stuff that we've been taking care of around here for a long time. But he's a diligent recruiter, and he's going to bring a lot to the table from a work ethic standpoint. Darren Roberts is going to move over to the defensive side of the ball and coach the corners. His recruiting territory is going to remain the same as far as, he did a great job in Baltimore and D.C. He's going to take over pretty much the entire state of Maryland and then also get down into Virginia as well. And we haven't done a great job in Virginia here in the last few years, and Darren's going to get in there and do that. Steve Dunlap's going to we're excited that Steve's staying on board, and he's going to be the assistant head coach and special teams coordinator. That's important to me as far as having one guy that makes sure that they stay, focused on taking care of the special teams. And everywhere that I've been, last year we kind of broke it up quite a bit, which, I thought we got better and worked hard at it. But having a guy that's just going to make sure that he focuses on it and spends, the better part of his day making sure that we do things schematically and evaluating talent and all that. I think it's going to be something that's going to pay off. We still got a lot of guys that can work on special teams. I mean, Joe's done it for the better part of 12 years. I'm going to be in every meeting. Darren and Robert, these guys are gonna, they're gonna work hard on special teams as well. But to have one guy that kind of focuses on it all day long, I think is really important. He's still going to recruit Western Pennsylvania. He's going to get into Eastern Ohio. He does a great job up there, which we all know that's been an important area for West Virginia for quite some time. Shannon Dawson, we're going to make Shannon the offensive coordinator and coach the receivers. Where him and Darren were kind of sharing the receivers last year, Shannon's going to be able to take that over and continue to get those guys better and better. Been recruiting Houston for quite a while. He'll continue to go down into Houston and see if we can't, pull one or two kids out of there like we've been doing here for the last several years. Also get into Mississippi junior colleges. He's from Louisiana. We'll get into Louisiana a little bit, but primarily it's going to be more Mississippi junior colleges and then get into Houston and get some guys there. Robert Gillespie did a great job recruiting South Florida last year. Does a great job of coaching our running backs up. That's what he does and what he brings to the table is not going to change a whole lot. Same thing with Bill Biedenbow, coaching the O-line, getting into the Western Ohio area, and then working his way over to his home city of Chicago to see if we can't get a couple of linemen that look like him with big heads and Jake Spavitalk, quarterback coach. We're going to put Jake over in Jersey. Another area that I don't think we've done a very good job of recruiting here in the last several years is New Jersey. It's a tremendous amount of football players come from there. I've been told I think 30% of our student body is from New Jersey. So I think we need to do a better job of getting in there and pulling some guys, which Jake will work. He'll work as hard as anybody when it comes to getting in there and getting some things done. The two graduate assistants, on the field graduate assistants this spring, Vince Cashdollar will be the offensive graduate assistant. And, he did a great job for us last year. He's been here for the last 2 years. We didn't want him to go anywhere. He had some opportunities, but wanted to stay put here, and he'll be the on-the-field guy in the spring, and really, help with the offensive line more than anything. Andrew McGee is coming to us from Oklahoma State. Was a tremendous player at Oklahoma State. He's all Big 12. In 2010, he's had some injury situations where he'd probably be playing in the NFL right now. But he's a great person. He's a great kid. He's going to be a fantastic coach, and we're excited about getting him on board, and will be a really good sounding board for our players, not only from a personal standpoint, but also be able to get out there and help coach the secondary. He played for Coach DeForest at Oklahoma State, and we're excited about him. One other note with the staff, Ryan Dorchester has been he's been moved to full-time recruiting coordinator. Ryan's been here for a long time, working diligently on about 6 different degrees, but to the point to where, his knowledge as far as the recruiting base is really important. As far as where we're at, from a off-season standpoint, we're in week 8. This is, the 8th week. From a strength and conditioning standpoint, I think these guys are working really hard, and I think they're working hard to, improve their body. Their work ethic's been good. Mike Joseph's doing a tremendous job as far as heading that up, and, along with the help of Mark Smith and Darryl Bauer and Pat Fitzpatrick and Kevin McCadam, they've all done a great job as far as getting those guys working hard in the weight room, and they don't get enough credit. I can assure you that. Those guys are here at 5 in the morning and they stay late at night. And they're pretty much, they're pretty much running the program right now. And, Mike's doing a good job, and like how those guys are working, like how the coaches are working, but I, in particular, like how the players are out there working. Quick little injury update. Dustin Garrison and Terrence Garvin are healing, from knee surgery. They're both doing good. They're on schedule to be back full speed in June. And Juwan Snow, who had a shoulder injury is improving as well. Those are the only three guys that we got that won't be going through spring practice. Juwan's scheduled to come back in July, but other than that, we have about 57 more scholarship guys that are going through spring. We got, I think, 93 or 94 that are on the team. So we'll have a lot of bodies to be able to go out there and practice, and that's been one of the themes that I've been harping on here for the last year is to make sure we got enough bodies where we can get out there and practice. And I feel like we're in a little better situation now than we were. Still got to add about 23 signees. I guess the latest signee that we had, which we just got his papers in today, we know Josh Lambert was a post signee as a kicker out of Dallas, but we also got John DePalma, who's he's a 6'5", 6'6" deep snapper, a big, tall, broad-shouldered guy. Got a great GPA, huge frame, and that's an area that we felt like we needed to address based on Cody Dutter's graduation to the point where he was our special teams MVP. So that's a very important position. And that Joe will be able to work with this guy and get him to the point to where he can help us win some games. Looking forward to spring practice. It seems like it's been a while since we've been doing football stuff, but anxious to get out there. You got the schedule there. I like how the schedule's set up. We'll go 3 days a week. In spring, you can wear them out now, so we try to spread that out over 6 weeks to the point with one of the weeks being spring break. But it gives you a lot of time to not wear them out, heal them up, and just get as much work as we can. So we'll go 6 practices, then we'll break for spring break and come back and finish up the other 9 prior to the much-anticipated spring game where we hope to have, about 30,000 people. I think we're about 25,000 people last year. We'd like to get that up over 30 for next year.